We should just face it, we all make mistakes, whether it's in our professional or personal lives. Things happen, but some of us handle those mistakes a little better than others. Here to talk about how we can stop obsessing over those mistakes is Dr. Lisa Orbe-Austin. Hi, Dr. Lisa.
Hi, Natalie.
So you're an expert in imposter syndrome, and worrying about a mistake, no matter how small it might be, definitely plays a part in that.
Yeah, typically it's one of the most intense triggers for people who struggle with imposter syndrome, because the idea is that if I make a mistake, then it'll be revealed that I am incompetent or a fraud, and then I have to make sure that I cover that up. And so I think that that can be one of the most significant triggers for people who have imposter syndrome.
And so when it comes to approaching these mistakes or handling mistakes, how does how we approach them affect everyone else?
Yeah, oftentimes we think that our kind of like perfectionism or whatever is sort of like underlying our approach to mistake making is actually healthy, and it makes everyone kind of rise to the highest standard, or make us rise to the highest standard. But unfortunately, for many people, it makes them actually feel like they can't live up to your standards. So as a result, they kind of are reticent to kind of even try. So you can get people that are underperforming around you or with you, or feeling like they can't live up to your standards, or you can get people who are trying to live up to your standards and are just burning themselves out trying to do so. So it can really send a really unfortunate message to other people.
And as I mentioned at the top of this segment, is we all make mistakes. We know that's going to happen. That is for sure. So what can we do? Some ways that we can acknowledge that we did make a mistake, but we can still just let it go. I know that's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think it's really an important habit to get into, is to really be able to acknowledge a mistake, take ownership, learn from the mistake, and really recognize that mistakes are a normal part of growing, of learning, of kind of adapting and trying new things, or trying things you've been trying for a long time, but you've had a different approach, or something's happened as a result that you've made a mistake. So I do think it's really important to kind of really learn from them, what's happening, what actually caused you to make the mistake, but not necessarily hide it. And sometimes it can be actually a great public learning experience for everyone.
Now, when it comes to your personal lives and your professional lives, are there different ways to acknowledge those mistakes? Does it matter? Is a business setting a little different than maybe you made a mistake with your significant other or a sibling or family member?
I mean, I think, contexts, are a little different, but I think generally your process should be around the fact that, take ownership for the mistake, be able to learn from it, and then also be able to recognize that, like, it's important to honor a mistake. When we get caught up not making mistakes, we get stuck in very particular points in our lives where we are just trying to master something, where we don't ever get it wrong. But in order to take risks, in order to grow, in order to get to the next level in our lives, we have to make mistakes. It's part of failing forward. So I do think it's a really important thing to get used to making mistakes and being able to acknowledge it, even with children, with direct reports. These moments are incredibly critical because it models for them how to deal with mistake making.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on this too. If you're in a management position, if you're a manager, if you're someone's boss, or in that case, a parent, what are some ways to approach a mistake that makes it feel helpful for others to see as an example?
Yeah, and I think that this piece is really important, is to really, it's very powerful for someone in authority to say, I did something wrong, and here's what I did wrong, and here's, what I'm going to do to remedy it. Here's what I'm learning from it. It really models healthy growth in an organization, in a family, in a dynamic. And so it can be really powerful. Although it feels really vulnerable, it can really change the game. And I think it's really memorable when somebody in authority takes responsibility for their mistakes and then also teaches you how to recover from it. So I think it's a really helpful thing to do when you are in a position of authority, any position of authority.
Certainly, and we're all going to make them at some point. Dr. Lisa, thank you so much.
Yes,
if you guys want to learn more about imposter syndrome, make sure that you're following her on social media at Dr. Orbe-Austin. And then she's also the co-author of the book, Own Your Greatness. And congratulations, your new book, Unstoppable Greatness, comes out later this year.
Thank you.